everyone able to put something in the chat? Beautiful. As you can see, it has been a little bit of time since I have done one of these Zoom calls and all the settings and all that. So it just goes to show you don't have to be overly tech savvy here with everything. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive in. So now that the chat is working, if you can go ahead and just type a Y in the chat if you can hear me, and where you're located in the country, please. All right, Raul, we got Fresno, California, Houston, Texas. All right, David, welcome. All right, we got California in the house, Richmond in the house. Hector, nice to have you here. Alicia, what's up, Alicia Stewart? Oh my goodness, good to have you here. That is awesome, awesome. Rusty, Idaho, all right. So let me make sure this is being recorded here, and it looks like it is. So beautiful. So we're just going to dive right in. Again, welcome. My name is Stephen Howell. I recognize some familiar names. Some of you who have been on my email newsletter for years now. And I also recognize some new names. And so I do not take it lightly, taking time out of your evening, or for those of you, your afternoon on the West Coast to be here today. And so it truly means a lot. And so we're just gonna dive right in, have a lot of fun here tonight, and we'll get started. So for those of you who stay to the end, I do have something special for you, and we will have a live Q&A. I want this to be fun. I want this to be interactive. I want to answer with the market, the economy changing. You know, I've been blessed to be part of this business in some capacity or another since 2009. And so by no means do I have like the most tenure in the world, but I have seen some up and down markets. And, you know, I'm more than happy to answer any questions, provide as much value as I can for you and your business. So specifically who this webinar is for, this is really an idea that I've kind of crafted over the last few weeks of just how can I make an impact with what's going on right now. And this is specifically for anyone who's really serious about closing your next large spread real estate wholesale deal. And if you have other exit strategies, maybe you already know how to flip houses or do terms deals, or you know, you acquire properties as rentals. That's totally fine. But anyone who wants to do a large spread deal in the next 60 days and an additional 1 to 5 deals the rest of 2023. So really get some chunky deals between now and the end of the year. And I don't know about you guys, but this year is flying by for me. And so we don't have a lot of time left. Before we know it, a lot of the actions we take now are going to start hitting before the holidays. And then bam, it's going to be 2024. And I want to do this with the least amount of overhead and expenses as possible. Obviously, anytime, you know, market, economy, things like that are changing, you know, I always am mindful of expenses and things like that. So, and before I keep rambling on here, can you guys see the slide deck okay? It should be sharing my screen. So if you can just type a little Y in the chat, I want to make sure you can see the slide deck here. So I'll just pause for a quick second there. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Raul. Appreciate that. So again, you may have seen this slide from me before. So if you've seen some of my stuff before, I don't mean this to be redundant. We're going to get right into it. But for those of you who are just like, who is this Stephen Howell guy? This also is going to be like, if you're brand new, but you're serious about getting kind of into action mode, if you're a wholesaler, landlord, rehabber, done a few deals here and there, if you're a broker, a real estate agent, but you see the opportunity on the investing side, this is definitely for you. And again, for those of you who are new to just coming across my stuff, you know, I want to make sure that I'm speaking with the right person here. So, you know, real estate is a viable option for creating wealth. You know, there's studies out there and things that have said there's more millionaires created in real estate than any other industry. And you know it's possible, and you're probably pretty darn committed, or else you wouldn't be here of getting financial freedom or achieving some next big goal for yourself and your family. And I've been there before, where you're sick and tired of wasting time, wasting money, not getting the results you desire. Maybe you're feeling like you're running in 12 different directions. Some months are big, chunky months, and other months you're like, where is my next deal going to come from? And with all the new, changes, whether it's with SMS or different marketing tactics out there, just the overhead, the complexity, the headache, something works for a while, then it doesn't. So if that resonates, definitely, I'm glad you're here. Maybe you see other people, whether it's locally meetup groups, whether it's Facebook groups on, national Facebook groups, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, making big money, growing their business. And you're wondering, like, what am I not getting here? What piece of the puzzle am I not understanding? Maybe you're just burning yourself out, quite literally, chasing too many things. And so it is my prayer, it is my hope this evening to just add a sliver of clarity to that process for you, and share hopefully some golden nuggets of what I truly believe is one of the very best ways to get ROI quickly and build momentum, which is what I want you to do. So I want you to take just a quick second to think about this. Think about where you're at, maybe where you've been the last 90 days in your investor business. And I want you to think for a second here about what you like. Why in the world did you get into this thing in the first place? What do you want this business to look like? Maybe not 10 years from now, maybe even a year from now, maybe 3 to 6 months from now. What are you really doing? Like, ultimately, like, why are you here? What's going on? And so the reason I asked that, it's important that we gain clarity, because if we try to do it all, we end up doing nothing. Or just kind of, piddling around. And so, obviously within real estate, it's a massive umbrella. You have fix and flips and long-term rentals and wholesaling, Airbnbs, terms deals, creative deals. And I want you to just think for a minute here about your specific strengths, your weaknesses, what you're good at, what you hate doing, areas that skill sets that you want to grow. What does that look like for you? And while you're chewing on that for just a second, and I promise we're going to dive into it, like, what in the world is this challenge, Stephen, that you're talking about, and why is this important to me? I want you to understand that the money is made. So all of the stuff you're doing here, money is made on the buying at the right price, having consistent, which I should underline, and reliable source and pipeline to choose that basically the deals come from to meet your goals, right? Like, you have to have that consistent pipeline where you're getting deals from, and you have to buy at the right price. So, I love this term metamorphosis, transformation. My wife and kids are at home this evening playing in the backyard, and we have a 5-year-old, 3-year-old. And my mother-in-law sent us home with this like tadpole kit where you can mail in a tadpole, the strangest thing I've seen. And it looked like a kit from like the 1990s. I'm like, surely they're not still in business. Sure enough, a week later, we get this tadpole in the mail. And so we've been feeding it, and now it has 2 legs, and this thing is on its way to be a frog. So talk about, Todd, Shaker Heights. Yeah, my wife's family are right close to downtown Cleveland, like close to Lakewood. So anyways, so yeah, talk about transformation. I just kind of sidetracked there, but I am really passionate about and doing this for the last 10 years as far as working with folks around the country, helping them to have a transformation in their business. And that looks different for different folks, whether it's attitude, character, circumstances, really revolving around real estate, right? So I want you to think and understand and believe that a transformation between like now and the end of the year, I don't know how many days it is, 100, 120 days, a lot can happen. And so I want you to just kind of be chewing on that a little bit as we go here. And so why focus really quick before we get into this on the investor side of the business? Why like really kind of, latch onto this and take this serious? And, the market is beginning to turn, and depending on your opinion, maybe it already has, right? The economy is spotty. Recessions and downturns are great times to buy, right? Zig while everyone else is zagging. So if you have not seen this competition, whether it's the We Buy Houses, the wholesale shops, some of the big national names that were doing hundreds of deals a year have closed up shop. Some of the iBuyers have closed up shop. As things start to get ruffled a little bit, people close up shop and go chase the next shiny object. So this is your time to get ahead. This is your time to really make that leap. And there is always going to be a market need for a thorn in the side property to be taken to the pawn shop, so to speak. And great deals are available for people who double down and focus with precision. And so I just encourage you, I write that to encourage you to, if this has been on your mind a little bit, to take a stand and say, it's time that I really get a handle on this. I need to have a commitment to getting ROI into my business. Enough is enough. Like, let's do this. So again, I recognize a lot of familiar names on here, and I am so honored. Some of you have been on my email newsletter for years, but for those of you who just are kind of coming across this for the first time, my name is Stephen Howell. You can check out more information at Stephen Howell Mentoring. But I am an introvert, and you can tell I'm a little awkward on here, a little goofy, figuring out Zoom settings, for crying out loud, talking about tadpoles. But I had to transition out of the financial call center and enrolling people into 401ks. I had my investment license, and I started getting into real estate. And I was 26 at the time, and there was two brothers that owned a couple hundred units, apartment units, and flipped a couple dozen houses and wholesaled 50, 60, 70, 80 houses a year. And, for me, just seeing what was possible, and they were 30, 31 at the time, not too much older than I was, the light bulb went off about what is possible. And so you say, oh, Stephen, he's probably going to be talking about probates tonight. Probates are not what I'm going to be talking about tonight, actually. But they have been my top lead source, or one of my top lead sources, for the last, really 10, 12 years. So that's kind of, when, people I'm kind of known for or whatever. But I was a creator of one of the top videos on YouTube for wholesaling real estate that has grown to over 177,000 views. I cringe looking at it. It looks like I'm in my parents' basement or something. Obviously, I don't have the lighting and all the stuff you see today. That was back in 2014. But I've been quietly known as one of the most effective people to take people by the hand and really teach them the skill set of buying deeply discounted real estate and really locking in those skills and helping them to do their first. Here's the little screenshot of that video. So I've produced hundreds of hours on content. I don't do a ton of content on YouTube or have a podcast right now or anything like that. I'm kind of focused on growing my own local business. We have young kids at home. I do have a desire to bring some of those things back a little bit because I love producing content. But I really have been on a mission to become a warrior in marketing and real estate, and really helping people to make that breakthrough in their businesses as well. And so the cool part is I really want to help skip that learning curve for you, or at least compress it in some capacity. I would be unwise and foolish to think that I'm going to help you skip all the pains of entrepreneurship and growing a business. But for those of you, again, who are just coming across this, or feel free to take a little screenshot here if you do want to connect with me. These are some easy ways to do that. And so again, we're going to get right into it here. I know I'm a little long-winded, but hopefully this can set the scene a little bit and just I know that it's not really about me. I don't want this to be about me, but just so you know who it is in the world is talking to you. So my why is first and foremost my faith, to honor God with the gifts he's given me, and has truly blessed me, the different skill sets and talents that he's given me. And so that is first and foremost. Next, I do this for my family, my own local real estate business, and nationwide, helping folks, and being able to spend time with my family, being able to have the freedom to travel, go on vacation. Fitness, I come from a family where different health challenges and different parts of my extended family, and being able to kind of focus on health and have the time and energy to do that is a big why for real estate for me, and serving and just building up warriors of men and women. So this is my why, so you know a little bit about me. These are some pictures of my clients that I've worked with over the years. There's a ton more. I really need to update a couple of these slides. A couple of trips my wife and I went on. And so without further ado, let's kind of go ahead. Again, if you don't mind typing a Y in the chat, just again, want to make sure audio is clear, and we're going to kind of get into like what in the heck this challenge is. Cool. All right. So I'm calling this the 2023 Deal Getting Action Plan Accountability Challenge. And so, you probably see a lot of different challenges in all aspects of life, but specifically like real estate investing or wholesaling. This is not your typical 7-day or 30-day challenge in the real estate world that you see maybe floating around out there. This kind of vision that I had for this, that I've been crafting over the few weeks, and I'm like, I really want to do this for folks and show them what's possible, is to have a very small accountability group. I haven't determined the exact size, maybe somewhere around 7 to 12 people, but I want it to be more intimate, and who are committed to doing large spread deals as fast, as possible, with as low overhead and expenses as possible. And so this challenge is going to start basically the day after Labor Day, September 5th. I believe that's Labor Day, so it could be wrong on that date, but I believe that's a Tuesday, September 5th, and we're going to run it through the end of the year. So again, kind of thinking what I said earlier, your whole life can change in 120 days with exceptional focus. I mean, that's obviously an overstatement, but a lot can change. And I remember, you may like this guy, you may not like this guy. I'm not going to say I'm a huge fan or anything, but this you've probably seen or heard of the show. What is it? Flip or Flop, Tariq El Moussa. I remember listening to an interview when he kind of had his breakthrough. Early on, when he was in his early 20s, and he had a mentor that shared with him, like, when you really focus for 120 days, like what can truly happen. And he went on for 20 minutes to talk about this like 4-month period in his life that so much changed. And I can think back different growth segments of my business when I really locked into something. It's amazing our potential as humans when we really focus in on that, during that time frame. So just wanted to kind of share that little piece. And so this is a repetitive slide, but this is the goal here. This is for anyone who wants to close a large spread deal in the next 60 days and an additional 1 to 5 large deals for the rest of the year. And we officially have 4.5 months with the least overhead. So what does this challenge entail? This entails working the 2 hottest lists, in my opinion, in real estate investing: probate and driving for dollars. And so if you've ever tried driving for dollars before, I want you to just hold any preconceived notions, and I want to share with you kind of how we're going to approach this. Now, you also may say, well, Stephen, what about inbound marketing? What about inbound marketing? Yes, that's the little asterisk, the caveat. So if you have between a $20,000 and $40,000 marketing budget that you are ready to play with between now and the end of the year, 20, 30, 40, 50K, that is kind of like blow money, but strategic tinkering money, then getting some inbound, paying big bucks to get your site SEO'd very well, showing up in Google listings, maybe getting up on the radio, doing TV. You have PPL, pay per lead. There's you have to have a big budget there. You have pay per click, Google PPC, but you also have Google PPC pay per conversion. You also have Instagram video ads, YouTube video ads. So if you are, those are some wonderful ways that, yes, if you are, able to spend 5, 10, 15K a month and kind of tinker around and iterate with technology, hands down, like inbound is so powerful. But even with that, these are still like right there. And a lot of times these deals might be a little bit larger, a little bit fatter, and just right there neck and neck with that. So so again, just any preconceived notions, I encourage you to just hang on with me. We're actually going to kind of reverse the order. A lot of people come to me to learn probate inside and out, and probate's always been my baby. It will, Lord willing, always continue to be my baby. It's been a wonderful niche and lead source, and I love serving those folks. But we're going to actually, for the sake of the goal in the last slide here, for the sake of this goal, we're going to reverse the order. We're gonna flip it. We're going to reverse the order there for the sake of this goal. So we're going to do it differently than, as far as driving for dollars, than maybe you've ever tried it or done it in the past. We're going to do it actually together and do it at scale. So for those of you who are like driving for dollars, you've probably heard that term. If you've heard driving for dollars, if you've tried driving for dollars, I want you to type in the chat, heard of it or tried it. And then if you haven't tried it, I want you to put haven't tried it. All right, heard of it? It's a cheesy name, just like bandit signs, just like, you know, there's so many cheesy names in real estate. Tried it. Okay. So, all right. So keep, you know, please feel free to go to the chat still. You know, if you've heard it, if you've tried it, if you've got a deal from it, all that good stuff. So, why driving for dollars? So first, the list is unique to you. So general rule of thumb, the harder the list is to get, if it takes work, if it takes a little ingenuity, if it takes a little frustration and pain, it's typically a hotter list. So it kind of checks that box. And with today's day and age, you know, I started using PropStream back in 2019. You know, I remember they started reaching out like, Steven, like, I think your clients could benefit from this. And I'm always a little leery, like, you know, so for 6 months, I just put them off. I'm like, I don't know about these PropStream people. And then I started really testing it, and I've used it every day in my business since. And now people, you know, we used to get a list from ListSource and PropStream, and, you know, there's all sorts of places you can download lists with different, I remember back in the day, Rebo Gateway and all sorts of list providers that you can buy from, right? And so with today's day and age, with, you know, being able to just download a list from PropStream is one of the most popular places. Everybody and their mother is calling that list, texting that list, mailing that list. So having a unique list that to you that is that not everybody else is calling and texting and mailing, and just such ease of access to alone is incredibly powerful. And the other powerful thing is when we do this right, every single house on that list that's custom and unique to you is going to be severely distressed. And wholesale deals specifically, or any investment deals, but particularly wholesale deals with the goal we had in mind, are completed by solving problems which come in a distressed property or distressed situation. Folks that want to take their house to the pawn shop. So we're automatically checking that box when we have a list of 500, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 houses that are all physically distressed. So the other little cool part is a lot of times these houses, you know, they may be on like the water shutoff list where you have to go to every unique municipality and city to try to get your hands on that list, or fire damage list, every fire department, like people who are going through something, they're typically not keeping up the maintenance of their home. And, you know, so this is a way to, you know, you're going to tap into maybe some of these other lists that you didn't know how to get, or that were too hard to get, by just, you know, simply doing this driving for dollars. The other powerful thing is you're going to do this. You're going to learn your market so much better, so much faster. I'm going to show you how we really pinpoint the exact zip codes we want to do this in. There's, you know, I know in my market specifically, there's 7 neighborhoods, like not neighborhoods, but like kind of like little suburb cities that's like, man, I know this one. If I get a deal in there, you know, it's a larger spread deal. And so a lot of the driving for dollars are focused on these little areas. So how do we learn that really quickly in your area and make sure you're driving the right areas? Now, another little interesting thing I did, just being able to network with a lot of folks, asked 7-figure operators, 7 of them, the number one thing they do if they started over with a limited budget, right? That's the key, thing. Again, if you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 to tinker with, and you want to start tinkering with some of the inbound things, I understand that. But when you are really trying to get that traction going in the business, this is always the first answer. It's this or probate. Like it's this or a niche list. It's this. And this hasn't changed for years. I know an investor that is very, very well known that's been doing this since the 80s and early 90s, and talked about like how he did this back then, and it really is like one of the best ways to do this. So the other cool part I want you to think about really quick, and we're going to get into the practicality of this, is going to put, you'll be able to, as you're building this list, you're going to be able to pull deals from this months from now, years from now. You're like, this is going to be a powerful list that you're going to be able to pull deals from for a long time. And these, just like probate, are larger, a lot of times much easier deals, and they can happen lightning fast, oftentimes even faster than probate. So one of my old clients, actually 2 of my old clients, joined forces, Eric and Ryan, and actually they just reached out to me today. They're nationwide now, and so it was like kind of ironic, right? Reached out to me today. And he's doing some awesome things nationwide, doing all sorts of stuff now, innovations, Google, PPC, all sorts of cool stuff. But he started with me learning probate, and then quickly he made a pivot to driving for dollars. And so this month that he was talking about over here, 53,500, that was 4 driving for dollars deals in the Milwaukee market. And, absolutely has been off to the races, and now has expanded, brought on a partner, and has expanded nationwide. So I'm not going to have a million testimonials in this. I just want to kind of get right to the meat and potatoes. I promised you guys I'd keep this short. I want to open it up to Q&A soon. So what in the world does this challenge entail, Stephen? So the key is we want to do this volume. Okay. We want to do volume. So 500 pinned properties per week is going to be 2,000 unique physically distressed properties per month. And this is the differentiator with probate. With probate, we have 100 or 200 opportunities a month, if we're doing this in multiple counties, which is like the laser sniper approach, which I love. But this gives us that volume without just, obviously spending tens of thousands of dollars on all these other marketing methods. Texting is going to be outlawed here soon, cold texting. So unless you want to spend big bucks, or, download the same list and try to, spend a lot of money on direct mail and cold calling and call centers and dialing and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do real estate, obviously, but this is just such a powerful way. So anyways, I digress. 500 pin properties a week. Now, using the Deal Machine app, there's a little icon above each house when you have your phone on your lap when you're driving, and you can tap to add it. And it is awesome. We can add about 50 to 80, sometimes 100 properties an hour driving. So this may be daunting. I know if you're like me, when I started trying to drive for dollars, it was like the notepad in the front seat, and maybe one week I'd write down 12 addresses, maybe the next week 19, maybe the next week 4. And then obviously before Deal Machine and skip tracing, you're having to do everything manually. But with this, you're literally able to go drive 2 days a week. And so I want to give you a little example. I know some folks here are doing this business full-time, some are part-time. But what if you drove Mondays and Tuesdays, and again, this is just an example, from 10 to 2 in the afternoon when folks were working, 10 to 3, or whatever time is going to work for you. And you pinned 250 properties on Monday, 250 properties on Tuesday. This is not something you are going to need to do forever, but this is something, because we're going to talk about delegating. But this is something, again, in this, when I kind of go back to that one slide about the mission of this challenge, that one large spread deal in the next 60 days, and 1 to 5 more by the end of the year, and really get a big chunk of money in your business, and then maybe be able to do some of the inbound stuff. That is kind of what I'm getting at here. So it's going to be like basically driving hard work. I mean, this is going to take work. This is not click button and bam, deals are coming, right? Driving 2 days for about 2, 3, 4 hours. Okay. Pinning 250 properties. And if you're doing this part-time, this number can be cut in half, but I do not recommend doing less than that. I mean, always, I love the slogan, do what you can from where you are with what you've got, but there should be no reason you can pin less than 250, but let's just continue with the example here. So Monday and Tuesday, we've pinned 500 physically distressed properties. Again, I'm going to show you a very, very easy way to do this. The exact neighborhoods, exact zip codes. It's a little app. You just tap, tap, tap. It basically adds it all to an Excel spreadsheet for you that you can export. And then the other 10 or 15 hours a week, we are spent on a dialer calling, cold calling. Now, again, if that is nails on the chalkboard and you're ready to get off the webinar, I don't mean to offend you. But, again, just as far as keeping expenses low with, the integrity of the mission here, that's, again, not what we're always going to do, but for the sake of this challenge. So 10 to 15 hours a week marketing to those, 500 distressed properties. If you do that, so let's say you start this, this doesn't start till September 5th, but for example's sake, I love the speed of implementation on this because you could literally be, driving next week, Monday and Tuesday on the dialer Wednesday, Thursday, and have a property under contract next Friday. I mean, it can happen very fast. This list, physically distressed properties. And then what we're doing in the challenge is you're going to have my help with any lead that you generate, exactly what to offer, what it's worth, if you should go on the appointment, role playing with you, helping you fill out the contract, whatever you need to get this thing done. So how much time and money do I need to have to do this, to participate in this challenge, Stephen? I would say, honestly, I don't want to blow smoke just to get more people to do this and like sell it or oversell it or whatever. 10 to 15 hours a week minimum. Like, I want to be real. Again, 20 hours is better. And it's going to really look like 1 or 2 days a week driving and pinning with the Deal Machine app and 1 to 3 days of calling on a dialer. Again, do what you can from where you are with what you've got. Honest answer for marketing, about $500 per month for marketing and operating for the Deal Machine, the skip tracing, and the cold call dialer. $1,000 is even better. And we honestly want to go play full tilt, all out, laser locked in to get that first deal done within the first month or month and a half. And then that way you can reinvest 15% and, it's a no brainer. So for those of you, if you have a limited budget, it's like, okay, I want to get in this challenge. I want to have 500 or $1,000. And then I'm getting a deal. I'm getting ROI. And then my future marketing is coming from profit. It's not coming from debt. So what does this challenge entail? Again, on a more granular level, set up Deal Machine, set up the dialer, my help with all this stuff. Start driving and pinning, help with skip tracing, start cold calling under my exact guidance, lead by lead analysis, help on the back end, getting them closed, the title company, the buyers, exactly what to do in what order so that you really get it done and maximize your spreads. And then as you are getting results, I want you to think about this. If you pin in September 2,000 properties, you are very likely to hit a deal, whether it's in September or October, by just calling that list. Well, in October, you pin another 2,000 properties. Now we have 4,000 properties. Well, after you've landed a couple deals, like, we're going to go back and hit that list now with direct mail. And that's going to, start stirring the pot for more deals. And then eventually the goal is, as you start to round the corner into 2024, is for you to no longer have to drive, for you to hire somebody to drive. And now, maybe you're like, well, Stephen, I don't have the money to do that. That's going to be a little bit of a pain. Well, if you've closed 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deals, and each deal's 15, 20, 25, 30K, depending where your market is, and you've got a good amount of revenue in the business, you're going to have the means to do that and delegate. And then maybe now you hire a cold caller. And so you have somebody driving, somebody calling, and you're peppering this list every month or every other month with a postcard. And this type of a list is not going to scale you to, 10 deals a month. I don't want to be unrealistic, but driving for dollars in this way can get you 2 deals a month. It can absolutely, and it should get you no less, as you get humming 2, 3, 4 months in, no less than 2 $15,000 deals a month. There's going to be natural fluctuations in there and deals that fall apart, and life and things, but like a real stuff, and this can be delegated. So this I've touched on this a little bit, but this is much different. It's so much different reinvesting from profit rather than going in debt. And so this kind of a little methodology you may have heard before. It's so powerful. Focus on one lead source, one marketing channel at a time, not chasing 2 rabbits, committing it to mastery. So this allows us to check that box by doing this challenge. It's going to be so much easier to scale your business when you've gotten the real result and you've gotten revenue in. And just, I really want you to think of how possible it is to land those next couple of deals. And I really want you to do even more than 2 or 3 deals that I have here on the screen. I loved, and it's so possible. I'd love for you to be like Eric, 4 deals in that month of May where he hit 53.5 and he hit a 50K month. And so it is a matter of, sacrifice and focus now for sure. It's not going to be fun sitting in the car for, if you drive on Monday for 4 hours, drive on Tuesday for 4 hours. It's boring, right? You can listen to stuff, listen to music, but, and then sitting on a dialer for 10 or 15 hours. This is like the non-sexy side of real estate that most people just don't want to do. But I just feel it in my belly, and I want to be able to kind of do this with you guys and also give you the support necessary. So what do you get for enrolling in this challenge that I'm kind of launching here? Well, one thing you're going to get, and why this is so much different than just a little 7-day challenge. Or a 30-day challenge. You're going to get my entire one-on-one mentoring training portal. I just added 10 videos to it. I'm constantly tinkering with it. I added 10 videos to it last week. You're going to get that forever, as long as I'm, in business and alive. Goodness, I told you I'm a little introverted and silly, but you're going to get that training portal. I've had that training portal since 2016. And a lot of the content has just come from, students asking questions. And I'm like, you know what? I need to make this process a little bit clearer, or I've seen something work or not work in my own business. And I'm like, you know what? Here's a better way to do this. Let me record some videos. And so it's this it's not this just, it's this ever breathing thing. You're going to get direct access to me on the walkie-talkie app called Voxer from now until the end of the year. So just like my one-on-one mentoring clients, you are going to have direct access to me. We can text on the walkie-talkie, and we also can leave up to 15-minute audio messages. So it's been an amazing tool I've used with all my one-on-one clients. And then at the end of the year, December 31st, as we, 2023, as we head into 2024, if you are getting results, if you are rocking and rolling, and you want to be part of the full-blown mentoring program that I do with folks for an entire year, you would have first selection at the end of the year. I would have that spot reserved for you, so we could just say, Steven, this has been amazing. I know the challenge is coming to an end, but man, I've closed, X amount of deals. Can I just continue with you for the next, 8 months at that time? And so you would have first dibs at that. We're going to have a weekly accountability check-in with me and the rest of the group, so you're not going at this alone. When it comes to driving for dollars, cold calling, kind of doing some of these outbound, non-sexy things, the reason most people don't get results right away is because it sucks. It's hard at first, and we get in our own heads, and people give up too fast. And so, you get to do this challenge with others and with me, and I with you. So this is something that I am going to be doing as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And so I'm not going to show you, I know I have it on the screen. Let's take a quick peek into the training portal. I can show you guys later, like what the full one-on-one mentoring training portal looks like that you're going to get, access to forever. But that's not the full, point of this. So the accountability part of this challenge, and I'm going to take a quick little drink here. All right. So weekly accountability check-ins with me and the rest of the group. So, I want this to be like kind of holistic a little bit to a degree, right? We're still focused on real estate, but I want to build some positive habits. So I'm so big on reading 7 pages a day. So as we go through this challenge, we're going to be going through a book together. Okay. So call it a book club too, if you want. 7 pages a day, simple. We're going to start building the habit of like winning, getting small wins every day. So 7 pages a day, 7 pages a day, 7 pages a day. So as you go through this challenge that starts September 5th, you're going to complete 4 books. I don't know the last time you completed a book cover to cover, but we're going to complete 4 books together. And then another element of this challenge is going to be something physical. As we are doing some of the hard work, doing these calls, driving for dollars, I want you to be, whether it's walking, whether it's, doing some air squats in your house or crunches or running or exercise, something to sweat and move. We want to be doing something physical for 20 minutes a day to the best of your ability. So these are some of the commitments, for the challenge members here that we're going to do. And then, where the rubber meets the road, KPI accountability. So, we're going to check in at the beginning of each week and likely the end of each week. How many properties did you pen? Okay. How many hours of dialing did you do? So I penned, Stephen, I penned 512 properties this week. I penned 268. And this is going to be such a powerful exercise for you to see. And when we start tracking these numbers, magic happens. How many hours of dialing did we do? How many hours of dialing did I do? How many contacts with the actual homeowner did we make? It doesn't matter if they said go pound sand or yes, they want to sell and it's an amazing deal. How many contacts did we make? How many leads were generated? How many appointments were scheduled? How many appointments went on? How many contracts did we secure? And then obviously working through any challenges and just my personal help with any leads generated. And then you're going to have full access to my one-on-one training portal for the rest of, full access to me for that rather. So essentially, you're going to have like full one-on-one mentoring plus this challenge for the remainder of the year. And then even after the year's over, you're going to still always have access to the training portal. So the goal of the challenge, again, I want to keep this front and center. I know it's a little repetitive, but repetition is a good thing. To get your next large spread wholesale deal done in the next 60 days, and then an additional 1 to 5 deals the rest of the year with the least amount of overhead as possible. The goal also is to have the power of community and for you to not do this alone, to build discipline, to build the habit of winning and things going right instead of things going wrong. Building helpful habits, a little bit of reading in there, a little bit of tracking the KPIs on a weekly basis, walking, running, putting some good things into our body, just kind of a really positive group. My goal for you in this challenge as well is for you to have the confidence, of what to do with real leads that have the thorn in the side house that want to take it to the pawn shop. And with my help, to maximize each deal, to get the largest spreads you possibly can, to avoid the common mistakes. I want you to do deals and then reinvest depending on your goals and situation, 10, 15, 20% into continued driving for dollars. But now we're able to, that list of 2,000 properties, then 4,000 physically distressed properties, then 6,000. We're going to be able to put that on a drip mail sequence and also have the funds to mail probate leads like crazy. And then like, I just recorded last summer, like a brand new element of my probate marketing system. It's like 9 or 10 videos, 12 hours of content, step-by-step. So like while you're going through this challenge at nighttime, you could be looking at my probate roadmap that has everything we do for probate, inside the one-on-one mentoring program. So you're going to like, I want you to focus on this, but you're also going to be able to have the money to be able to start really hitting probate and have that going as a nice little 1-2 punch, and then hopefully expand into some of the the inbound stuff that I shared with earlier. The next goal is for you just to have the confidence of again winning and getting deals done, and to have accountability and to have a ton of fun doing it together, to not be alone. Okay. So we're almost ready to open it up to Q&A here in just a minute. And so when does this begin? So we have a couple of important things to get to. When does this begin? It begins Tuesday, September 5th. Okay, Tuesday, September 5th. And the enrollment into this, this deal getting challenge is going to be tonight through Friday. I'm keeping a tight window here. I want this to be for folks who are really, really serious. I'm going to be doing this personally. This is going to be a small group of folks between now and the end of the year, and there are going to be limited spots, first come, first serve. So if this has resonated on your heart, if you're like, like I want to kind of do some of this hard work up front so that I can, scale and reinvest in things later, definitely, I encourage you to go forward with this. So enrollment is tonight through Friday night at midnight. Again, this is going to be for brand new investors, intermediate investors, real estate agents, folks that like have a belief, that they can really do this and make a wonderful living and do 2-3 deals a month minimum, and scale this and hire and delegate, and who do love helping solve problems for people, and they value results, but also understand, that this level of accountability, there has to be some skin in the game. One last time, this is who this is for, right? We want to get results here. And this is not going to be, and I don't mean this as nails on chalkboard, for somebody that just likes the idea, attending trainings and things, or makes excuses, or doesn't really want to do the work, basically. Who kind of is just stuck in information gathering, probably not going to be for you. So you're basically going to learn the business by actually doing it. So instead of going out there, big high level group coaching or seminars or just a little course, really going to help you get everything set up and running, exactly what to do, tell you what's good about the deals, bad about the deals. Some of you are a little bit more advanced, and so you may just want that accountability and kind of to be doing this, and you already know how to analyze your deals. But it always, iron sharpens iron, and it's always helpful to get that second, little look on deals and things like that. And you're going to have access to me, direct access to me. So for this challenge, just quite simply, what's the investment? It's $2,000. So it's $2,000, just plain $2,000, which is 65% off of my one-on-one mentoring program. And you're essentially almost basically getting my one-on-one mentoring program with full access to at least the portal for life, and full access to me for 65% off. So as I, have thought, like, how can I provide the most value? This is the way I feel that I can do that with my skill sets, and I'm excited to do this with you guys. And the little nugget I will leave with you, and I'm going to show you how to go ahead and get started, so we can go ahead and get you, if you're interested tonight, enrolled. But if all this did was just give you a kick in the butt that you've been needing, to help you do your next large spread deal. I know one of my clients, Katrina, earlier in the year, she hit her first deal ever was a 40K-er. And, just seeing that life-changing moment for her. And so if it finally just, allowed your business to be profitable, got you doing a deal or two a month, 2 $15,000 deals, and give you the confidence that this really does work and you can actually do it, would 2K be worth it? The other thing I want you to think about, I'm not a big, I want to be, good steward here. I'm not one of these like mentors that's like, oh, just go get, go get a credit card, go get, and it's like, no, in your belly if you can do this or not. But 2K and then, $500 a month for marketing. But like, we want to hit a deal in like month 1 or 2. So in my opinion, like 2K to like kind of do this and have access to all this support, and then maybe another 500 or $1,000. So you're kind of betting 3K. And if you just do 2 $15,000 deals, and if you do the work, again, I can't promise that people are going to do the work, but the results will follow, right? And if you do 2 15K deals, that's a 10K return on investment. So investment 2K, 65% off of the mentoring program. So a couple more things. I'm going to show you how to get enrolled, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A. You're going to get direct access to me. And then at the end of the year, okay, so keep in mind, you're going to be paying 2K tonight if you get enrolled. And you are going to have direct access to me for the rest of the year. At the end of the year, obviously, you've done some deals, and you're like, Steven, let's continue this, man. Like, of course, I want the rest of your mentoring program. I want to keep being able to talk with you on the walkie-talkie, any deal, any lead. I'm going to go ahead and give you an $800 discount to the program, which, because I charge $5,800. So if you want to extend for the year, it would just be 3K. And then you would be able to continue with me through, basically September 1st of 2024 in the mentoring program. So you would kind of hop to the front of the line, obviously weekly accountability check-ins, and all of that. So definitely this is going to be limited opportunity. I'm only keeping this open until Friday at midnight because I want to get you guys prepped and ready to begin the challenge. I'm going to talk about that, like what happens, Steven, after I get started tonight. We're gonna talk about that. So let me go ahead and pop the link in the chat here. So if you go over to the chat. All right, so I went ahead and put the link in the chat to the checkout page. And so that is going to be where you can go ahead and get started. So if this has resonated in any way, shape, or form, I encourage you to go ahead, click the link in the chat. You can pay with any debit or credit card. It goes through my payment processor. And I will be sending you a very detailed welcome email in the morning. Also a personal video of kind of what's coming next. Let me just go ahead and do that. So this is what's going to happen once you go to the link in the chat and you get started. You are going to get a detailed welcome email from me in the morning. You are going to get a personal video from me, kind of like walking you through the training portal, my one-on-one mentoring training portal, how to get connected with me on Voxer, and just what's going to happen these next couple of weeks to get prepped and ready for September 5th. We want to go ahead and build your buyers list really quick. We want to go ahead and get your title. There's a lot of things that we can line up. Some of you may have lined up, some of you may not. We want to be super efficient so we get results. But also in the meantime, I'm gonna really video by video walk you through like how we get set up on Deal Machine, so you're not doing this alone. The dialer system that we're going to use, the clear schedule, kind of be able to hash it out with you on Voxer, the clear schedule for that you're going to be driving and when you're going to be calling. And then just, again, be there for you to answer any questions, fears, all that good stuff. So that way we are absolutely like prepped and ready to go, and we can really do this thing. And so, inside my training portal, there's some cool areas. I just recorded a whole new section on what we do to get prepped and ready for something like this. And so there's 10 brand new videos in there. I'm super pumped about that, but I digress. Let's see here. So I want to go ahead and open it up to the chat. So go ahead. If you have, wish I could do like video or something like that, but for now, I guess we'll just keep it via chat. So any questions for me about this challenge? Any questions for me about anything, real estate, wholesaling, the state of the market, anything that's not clear about this challenge, please go ahead and chime that into the chat. I'm gonna leave these couple slides up here. All right, so Todd, my friend, I don't drive. What are some options for driving for dollars? Okay, so you have a couple of options, Todd. One is you can do virtual driving for dollars, which I've had some clients do very well with that. I will admit, I do like physically driving for dollars better than virtual. It really depends on your area. When you go to like Google Street View, like when those images were taken, because in some of the bigger cities, like they update those images like every couple months, once every 6 months. And so you can go into like the Deal Machine app, and you can virtually drive like you're driving like Google Street View and still pin those properties. But like in some markets, like in my market, I'm in a smaller market, here in Ohio. You'll see some Google Street View images of like 2017, 2019, stuff that's like 3, 4, 5 years old or a couple of years old. And that's not as effective because it's not accurate data. That house may already be fixed up. And so you naturally waste a little bit more marketing dollars and time, because you could be calling on a list of 2,000 properties and a certain percentage of those might already be fixed up. You are still going to hit deals. So you will just need to do a little bit more quantity that way. So that's one way, is you can virtually drive for dollars, and people do very well with that. You just need to understand those factors and see the Google Street View in your area, if it's couple month delay or a couple year delay. The other option is getting creative about hiring. Okay. And that may be like, well, Steve, I don't have money to hire, And so this is where like the whole like spirit of an entrepreneur, where there's a will, there's a way type thing. And I know that sounds cheesy, but just like, are you excited, passionate about getting this business going? Is there somebody that like you can do it's not an end all be all thing forever, but if you're paying for the Deal Machine app, is there somebody that buys into your vision of the business that will drive for 2 months for you, and you'll do some type of revenue split with them, with these deals? So you're providing the Deal Machine, you're providing the skip tracing, you're getting the deals analyzed because you have access to me. You're doing all the cold calling, but somebody else is driving and they are getting 30% of the deals or 40%. Be generous, sell them on the vision a little bit potentially. So that would be an element too, and that way you have the component of something physically being driven. But that's awesome. You said I've started marketing with probate leads. And so that is definitely, that's awesome. So another piece of this challenge for those of you who are like locked in probate, you're in a rhythm, you could technically join this challenge and get, access to my mentoring program for 65% off for the rest of the year. Consume my exact probate, roadmap, the new 10 videos, 12 hours of content, every single thing I use for that, and like make that your challenge. And I'm happy to still, keep you accountable with that. So that's another little like hybrid, for you there. If you want to do that. So, all right. All right, beautiful. All right, guys and gals, what other questions are coming to mind? All right. Don't be shy now. Russ, what's up, my friend? Oh, goodness. Did you say you use Deal Machine app to pin properties? And what are some things we should look for while on the road? Yeah, so Deal Machine is the app. There's others out there, but in my opinion, it's the best for sure. So I would use Deal Machine. Tap to add. That's a setting in there that we'll go over. And what are some things you should look for while you're on the road? So when we pinpoint those 5 to 7 neighborhoods to really start in, those zip codes, those kind of hot little pockets from some prep work that we're going to do between now and the challenge, you want to look for the properties that obviously look vacant, but it doesn't have to be just like absolutely every box, blue tarp on the roof, tall grass, chipped and peeling paint, a whole, like, it doesn't have to have 5 things. Like sometimes, people get, they don't add enough properties because they're being, too, like, I'm trying to think of the right word. So you want a couple things, obviously if there's a car parked on the lawn, or if something's majorly wrong with the roof, or it just looks like a severely dated property. The hedges, the bushes are overgrown, the grass is overgrown. Doesn't really look like anybody lives there. There's a hole in the window. Stuff like that, where it's like, man, this looks decently rough on the outside. There's probably something going on here. That is, that's really, what you're kind of looking for. So great question, Russ. Oh my goodness. Good to hear from you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Awesome stuff. What do you use to keep track of the property? So that is going to be Deal Machine, Todd. So it's going to keep track of all of it for you. So as someone is driving for dollars for you, they're just going to be able to tap, and it adds it to a list for you. And so that is what you use to keep track of all the properties. It's going to be Deal Machine, and it's going to tell you everything about the property. It's going to tell you if there's equity. It's going to tell you if it's owner occupied, like the person lives in it. It's going to tell you if it's an absentee owner and it's like a landlord situation. If it's corporate owned, or obviously possibly vacant. I mean, it tells you a lot of information. And so, and then there's some things that we do with that list as far as breaking it down, to call the list. All right. Hector, Michael, Ronnie, Steve, we got some good people on here. So honored to have you all on tonight. What other questions do we have about this? While we're waiting on questions, I mean, don't be shy. Please toss the questions out. I'd love, if you're thinking of a question, and in the meantime, what's the single biggest goal in your business the rest of this year? If you had one goal, I'd love to hear that. All right, Todd, I love it. Get the first wholesale deal under belt. Absolutely. No better way than this. So absolutely, what was the landlord in Chicago? Okay, good deal. Good deal. Yeah. Tired landlords. You're gonna, it's definitely gonna be a category from this list. The house is run down. The landlord had a property, and they're tired of it. It's a thorn in their side. Maybe this is the last one of a handful they were getting rid of. I remember a deal I did the other little while back. It was a restaurant owner in my town, and he had at one time 20 rentals. And I reached out to him, and there's a few he was trying to get rid of. And the restaurant that he owns took off, and just didn't have time to deal with it. Like he was so busy, and he's just like, listen, I've made some decent money from it. I just want to be done. So we worked out a great deal that was a win-win. Yep, absolutely. All right. Hector, great question, my friend. So, how do I feel about virtual wholesaling? So, virtual wholesaling definitely can be done. I have done a decent portion of my business virtually. When I got started back in 2009 and really started getting some headway in 2011, I was doing this business virtually in a market that was 2 hours away. And I closed over 50 deals that year or close to 100 deals. I can't remember. And I never attended a closing. I never even went to see a house, never went to that market. And then I've also done deals here locally now in a slightly different market here in Ohio, where I live in my own backyard. And so definitely there are pros and cons to both. For the sake of Deal Machine, and the Striving for Dollars challenge, and just kind of seeing both sides of it. I love doing it locally if you can. If you are in, the middle of North Dakota or something, or you're in a very, very competitive market, whether that's, LA or you're downtown New York City, and you're like, there's just, high-rise skyscrapers everywhere, and I don't see a lot of neighborhoods. There's considerations then of possibly, picking a virtual market. But even in some of the bigger markets in Cali, this Striving for Dollars, I mean, this is how you do find those deals that everybody else isn't marketing to. So so if you can, local, but I would within an hour of where you're at. But there's certain exceptions to that, and then you kind of pick, in my opinion, one. Let's say you live in downtown New York City, there's skyscrapers everywhere, and you're like, okay, I'd pick one market to focus. Like, okay, I'm not going to do this in downtown New York City. I'm going to pick, Columbus, Ohio, or I'm going to pick Memphis, Tennessee, or something like that. So you're doing it virtually, but you have laser focus. That would be my thing. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Awesome, Russ. Let's see. Covered a lot of great detail. To establish more powerful relationships by adding more value to the community using this strategy. Give me a lot of neighborhoods to cover. Any specific areas that we should avoid? Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's one of the things that we're gonna kind of go into, Russ, as far as like as you get into this training, is just really kind of selecting the neighborhoods, right? Like we want to know where buyers are buying in your area. There's a way that we reverse engineer that. There's a way that we kind of go about figuring out, not last year 2022, but like lately, like where are deals happening and what are those hot little suburbs. And so it's a lot of times not going to be not a lot of times, it's not going to be like the super ritzy high end areas. It's not going to be the absolute war zones. We want there to be a lot of housing density, lots of suburbs, lots of houses. We don't want to be like crazy rural, like where there's not a lot of houses around. But we also want to be in pockets where deals are happening. So there's a way that we reverse engineer that when we kind of select those neighborhoods. And that there's a little bit of market recon that I just recorded a bunch of new videos about, the way that we kind of go about in selecting that. So that's a big piece of this. So you're not, gas is expensive, right? So we don't want you out there wasting a ton of time driving in the wrong areas. All right. Well, looks like we got a few people enrolling already, so that is awesome. So again, this is going to be a limited group to kind of run with this for the remainder of the year. Super excited about this, guys and gals, for coming out tonight. And so if you have any questions, definitely Stephen at Stephen Howell Mentoring. Please go ahead and email me for sure. More than happy to get back with you. For those of you who are getting enrolled, I will be sending out a welcome email in the morning. And then, like I said, kind of going through that process of, a personal video and, what these next week or two is going to be looking like, so we can get you, prepped and ready and all of that good stuff. And so it was an honor to be here tonight. I want to give it a few more minutes. Again, I said to be respectful of your time. So perfect. We're at about 75 minutes, an hour and 15. But seriously, any additional questions, please let me know. Please feel free to submit this via chat. Absolutely, Todd. Appreciate you, brother, so much. And I remember our call. Absolutely. All right. All right. Well, the link for those of you, if you just scroll up the chat, let me make sure this link is clickable, and it is. Okay, cool. So you can just click the link there to get started, and we'll see those orders coming through. Let's see, if you have any questions, definitely email me. You guys are very, very welcome. It was my honor to come out tonight, and so and again, just appreciate you guys your time, and I do not take it lightly. You opening my emails, reading emails, coming to hang out on a webinar. I know I don't do a ton of these, but this is just something that's been on my heart of like, how can I kind of give back and do something cool with folks that's hard work up front, but really, moves the needle. And this is just such a powerful thing. So I'm excited to have this small accountability group and show them what's really possible. So again, appreciate you all coming out tonight. God bless. And I don't see any other questions in the chat right now. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. All right, everyone, have a safe evening. God bless, and talk soon. Awesome.